Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order and slight change of plans. In today's episode of Pokemon Silver, I mentioned later on today I was going to do the news update video thingy, but I was doing the research and it seems I go away for one weekend to one anime convention and suddenly a whole ton of information comes out. There's a whole bunch more than I was expecting, and it's going to take a little bit longer to get everything edited and prepared and everything like that. So we're going to hold off the Monday news update video until Tuesday, so tomorrow. But something I did miss out on this weekend because I was busy with anime airtime was a whole lot of information about Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon has been dropped on us. We're taking a look at it right here. As you can see, some new Pokemon have been revealed, new features as well, so I want to go over the website and check out all the new information that they have given us thus far this weekend for Pokemon Sun and Moon. So where do we want to start? Let's take a look at Tapu Koko, the land spirit Pokemon, and get some information about this particular Pokemon. I'm not going to show the trailers or anything like that. You can go to Pokemon-sunmoon.com and get this trailer for yourself, check it out. But we'll check out the data they've given us. It is the land spirit Pokemon, electric and fairy type. Wouldn't have guessed that by looking at it, but that is what it is. It has the ability Electric Surge. So I'm not going to read all the information. I'm going to get to the important stuff that, well, what I deem important. And so Tapu Koko's ability is Electric Surge, an ability never before seen in a Pokemon. Electric Surge fills the field around the Pokemon's feet with electricity when it appears. Basically, it's going to be the move, what is it called? Electric Terrain in the form of an ability, which will activate as soon as Tapu Koko comes out of the Pokeball. So the interesting thing about this is, I don't know if this Electric Surge, if Electric Terrain does this currently in Gen 6, but it says the Electric Surge, raising the power of any electric-type moves for the Pokemon on the ground and preventing any Pokemon from falling asleep. So currently I do know Electric Terrain prevents Pokemon from sleeping, but it's going to also, if it doesn't already, boost the power of, electric types, I think it said? Boost the power for electric-type moves for Pokemon that are touching the ground. So my first thought with this is going to be a good counter for Darkrai with the Bad Dreams ability. As soon as you send Tapu Koko into battle, it's going to get the Electric Surge off. It's going to negate sleep for any Pokemon that are touching the ground, therefore Darkrai cannot put them to sleep. Another nice thing is being electric and fairy type means Tapu Koko could be a very good counter for the dark type Darkrai. Now it also says Tapu Koko can learn a new move called Nature's Madness, which slams into an opponent and reduces that Pokemon's HP by half. So essentially Super Fang. It doesn't say what type it is exactly. It might be grass, it might be electric. We don't know exactly, but it is like Super Fang, and I'm assuming it's not going to be a normal type attack because we have that in Super Fang, which means this is a move that will work on ghost types, unlike Super Fang, of course. We see some information or some nice artwork of a Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko can store up electricity by enclosing itself in the shells on its arms, and it also appears to enter this form during other special times. We don't know what that means, of course, and they get the very foreshadowy ellipsis at the end there. So we do not know exactly what's going to happen, but let's take a look at other Pokemon that have been revealed for the Alola region. So we have here, we can choose all legendary starter. Let's just start at the very first here with the various forms of Zygarde. Zygarde's cores and cells. The cores and cells that make up Zygarde, we've seen this kind of information before already. I wonder if it's going to explain anything about them. Not so much, pretty much all that we've seen before. So the cells right here, you can see the smaller one forms into, I think enough of them form up into the Zygarde core, which is the upper left version. Checking out the next part, we see is the 10% Zygarde. It is the, of course, Dragon Ground. It is the Order Pokemon, and the abilities Aura Break and Power Construct. So it's interesting, it has two abilities. When an emergency occurs, this form can take action separately from Zygarde 50% form, which comprises its main body. It has just a single core performing the functions of its brain, so it can only maintain this form for a short period of time. 1,000 Arrows is a move that only Zygarde can learn. It's a ground-type move, but it can even damage flying types and Pokemon with Levitate. That's interesting to note. After being hit by this move, flying types and Pokemon with Levitate ability will also continue to take damage from other ground-type moves, so it negates the ground-type immunity of flying and Levitate Pokemon. 1,000 Waves is also a move that only Zygarde can learn. This move makes it impossible for an opponent to flee or be swapped out of battle. Now, we've heard these moves, of course, before, but this is the first time I've read the specific features and special effects of these attacks, which is pretty interesting to find out. Now, of course, we know about Zygarde 50%. I think, is it going to show us? Yes. So, Aura Break and Power Construct. Zygarde 10% or Zygarde 50% with the Power Construct ability will be able to change forms into its complete form during battle if its HP drops below half. So the natural ability Aura Break, of course, reverses the aura abilities of other Pokemon such as Xerneas and Yveltal. But Power Construct is what you're going to be able to use if your Pokemon gets low HP to go into the complete form. Here we have the only ability is Power Construct, of course. Core Enforcer is a move that only Zygarde can learn, and it can erase the abilities of any opponents that have already used a move on the same turn that it's used. That could come in pretty handy in a competitive sort of a scene. Its wings and tail each have their own core. Each core serves as a brain and can make decisions and act independently. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue on. We've seen these forms of Zygarde before, but now we're getting more information about what they can do. This is one of the first new Pokemon of the Alola region that's been revealed. A nice, colorful, tropical kind of fish, Bruxish. It is the Gnash Teeth Pokemon, as you can see, with the sharp fangs and the nice and full lips it's got on there. Kind of creepy, but let's pass by that. We got a type of Water and Psychic on this. Abilities are Dazzling and Strong Jaw. So we're going to scroll down a little bit. Again, I don't want to read everything. You can read this yourself. But Bruxish can have the new ability Dazzling, which no other Pokemon has ever had. The Dazzling ability prevents opponents from using priority moves that normally strike first. So things like Quick Attack, Aqua Jet, Extreme Speed. What else goes first? I can't think of it offhand. But there's a lot of priority moves. Oh, Mach Punch. All stuff like that. Dazzling is going to prevent it. And I would assume this means even in a double battle or triple battle, just having your ability of Dazzling on your side is going to prevent any of the opposing Pokemon from using their priority moves. So, based on how this will interact, I believe this means Talonflame with Gale Wings and any flying type move. Every flying move will be prevented with Dazzling. So, I believe what they're trying to do with some of these new Pokemon is find what are the most powerful strategies people are using in the video game currently these days and find ways that new players can counter it. So Talonflame with Gale Wings is of course a very popular strategy. The Dazzling ability of Bruxish is a good way to prevent the Gale Wings from really having an effect, and it is a water type which will be super effective against Talonflame. So let's take a look at some more Pokemon. We've only seen one new one so far. This is a cute little one, Cutiefly. It is a bee-fly Pokemon. It is only 4 inches in size, and it has either Honey Gather or Shield Dust, so those are two abilities we've already seen before. And I don't know if there's too much to mention here. Cutiefly mostly live in the fields and meadows on the outskirts of cities, but they sometimes appear in towns and even inside buildings, drawn in by the emotions of the living beings of the community. So, doesn't say if it's going to evolve or not. It's going to be interesting to see if this thing evolves into some sort of huge, vicious beast. It's hard to say, but I think it's the first ever bug fairy type Pokemon we're getting in the Pokemon games, which is an interesting note to make. Can't think of any others offhand that are bug and fairy type. But here we have a new dragon Pokemon, Drampa, the Placid Pokemon. It is a massive 9 feet 10 inches long, pretty heavy too, at 407.9 pounds. The abilities are Berserk, which is a new ability, and Sap Sipper. So let's scroll down and check out the ability. Drampa can have the Berserk ability, an ability that no other Pokemon has ever had. With the Berserk ability, this Pokemon's special attack will go up by 1 when its HP drops below half. It doesn't say if that is an ability that only is active while it's below half. The way this is worded, it almost sounds like every time it drops under half, the special attack will increase by 1 stage. I wonder if this means you could then recover or use an item to heal it up, and then if they go back under 50% again, will it raise by a 2nd stage? I don't know if that's how Berserk's going to work, but we're going to find out as Pokemon Sun and Moon come out November 18th. The more information we get, the more hyped I become. Here is Tapu Koko. We've already taken a look at this Pokemon here. We're going to scroll past the Fairy Electric Pokemon, or Electric Fairy, going in the proper primary and secondary typing organization, and Togedemaru. This looks like the new Pikachu of the region. It is the Roly-Poly Pokemon. It is Magnemite type, Electric Steel type, and has the abilities of Iron Barbs or Lightning Rod, so we've seen both abilities of those before. And I like the information down here. On days when lightning strikes, you can sometimes see Togedemaru gather and bristle up their needles, waiting to be struck by lightning. So these must be the Lightning Rod particular variants of the Togedemaru species. So that is another new Pokemon. Here is, we've seen Grubbin already before. We're going to skip past this because they've introduced 2 additional Pokemon that evolve from Grubbin. Now, when I read the description here, it says, Grubbin loves electricity, which is why it can be found near power plants and substations. I had a feeling that meant this might evolve into a bug electric type, and as it turns out, it does. It evolves into Charjabug, the battery Pokemon, with a new ability called Battery. So bug electric is the typing. And Charjabug has the battery ability. The battery ability allows it to raise the power of allies' special moves. So it is some sort of a special attack boost for whatever Pokemon are on the your side during a double or triple battle, which is pretty interesting. I can see this being another Eevee-like candidate. Have that on your team, basically just to try to take as many hits as possible while providing additional special attack to your other Pokemon in battle. So that is a viable use for Charjabug. But if you like, you can evolve it into Vikavolt, another new bug Pokemon, the Stag Beetle Pokemon, also bug electric, with the Levitate ability. And I like the information down here. Vikavolt clasps Charjabug with its legs and uses it as an extra battery. Even if a battle drags on, it can use the electric power from Charjabug to continue firing off powerful moves. When Vikavolt is engaged in a fierce aerial fight, I said flight before and I was reading this to myself, it releases Charjabug to make itself lighter and increase its mobility. Now, it says it holds on to Charjabug. Wouldn't it be cool if, in certain situations, if you have certain Pokemon in battle, like doubles or triples together, what if the Pokemon interact in such a way? Like, for example, what if Vikavolt does hold Charjabug under its, in its legs underneath itself and allows it to get additional damage off? That'd be kind of interesting if they incorporate something like that. But don't know if they're going to, of course. We'll have to wait and see as we check out Komala. Now, this is a Pokemon that was revealed through, I believe, Koro, and it is the drowsing Pokemon with the new ability called Comatose. I was reading the information. I have an idea for this. Now, so Comatose ability, the ability keeps it perpetually in a drowsing state, which prevents it from getting any other status conditions. I don't know if this means that only sleep can affect it, or if sleep always affects it, so they don't really clarify that. I'm wondering, this could be a Pokemon that is always asleep, and certain items like Awakening or the Chesto Berry, maybe they have no effect on this Pokemon. But what if you were to combine this with Tapu Koko with Electric Surge? If Tapu Koko comes in and gets the Electric Terrain ability up, or not ability, but the effect of the Electric Terrain, what if you send in Komala? Would it then wake up if it is permanently asleep? I don't know. So obviously Komala could be a candidate for using things like Sleep Talk and Snore, and the problem with Sleep Talk, of course, is it's a random choice of the other moves that it has. But if you could somehow find a way to get this Pokemon to remain awake, you could then choose whatever attacks it has. What if this thing has a massive offensive presence to it, like massive attack, massive special attack? There's no telling what this thing can do yet. We don't know the stats of it or anything like that, but if you could get it to wake up and keep it awake, this could be a pretty interesting powerhouse Pokemon, which could, like I said, combine well with Tapu Koko. Now, another new Pokemon that has been revealed through Koro, we now have the English name of Rockruff. There's a Rock-type puppy Pokemon with either Keen Eye or Vital Spirit, and both abilities, of course, have been in existence before. And it says something here, I don't know if this is going to sort of play into the game itself, but if it begins to howl when the sun goes down, that is proof that it's close to evolving. It's said that it leaves its trainer's side to evolve and returns again when fully evolved. So, does it just evolve like regular, or does it actually have to leave your team and then come back later? I don't know, maybe that's a new kind of a feature they're going to put into a new way to evolve Pokemon in Sun and Moon. And it says, Bite is a good move for Rockruff. It deals damage by biting an opponent with its sharp teeth. This may make the target flinch. I wonder if that indicates it might become a Rock-Dark type. Now, we already have that in Tyranitar, of course. I don't think there's any other Rock-Dark types currently. Nothing comes to mind. But this could be the second ever Rock-Dark type, if there currently isn't one other than that already. Now, any other Pokemon to take a look at here? We head back to the starter. So I think that's all the new Pokemon they've revealed. There are some cool features that we're going to take a look at in just a moment. Just make sure we caught everything. The legendaries, yep, we've seen all the Pokemon thus far. Let's go ahead and check out the cool features. And there's one new thing that they've announced. Not really too much information. New features coming to Pokemon Sun and Moon. Let's check the details. So, in the world of Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, you'll discover moves more powerful than any seen before. Higher base power, that's nice. And adventures in uncharted locations, and many more delights just waiting to be explored. Get an early look at what's to come. More detailed information about the new features in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon will be available soon. Now, I'm not kind of following time-wise how often they put this information out, but maybe it's like once a month or so, so hopefully in August we'll get some more information. We have some quick little screenshots. It's a nice forested cave-looking like area right there. We have, I don't know what attack that is right there, but Pikachu's firing off some pretty decent power, it looks like. And we go for a third picture, which reveals you do get to ride Pokemon again, just like in X and Y. Now, you didn't get to ride them in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire that I recall, except unless you count the cutscene with, Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, or whatever. But we do see Stoutland is the steed of choice in this situation. And back to that first scene right there. So I don't think there's anything more to mention here. I'm going to check the Alola region link and just see if there's anything on here. Basically, the overworld map, it seems to be mentioning the same characters that we've seen before. And that is it there. So one last thing to check out before ending off this video is going to be the videos. I'm not going to play any of them. As I say, you can go to the website yourself and check them out. That is the trailer right there that shows off the new Pokemon that were currently revealed, or recently revealed, and same videos right there. So, that is going to be the end of this video. Just a sort of brief, sort of a summary recap of all the Pokemon that have been revealed. Possible strategy ideas that could come in play. As I say, I like the idea of going for the Tapu Koko combining with Kamala, possibly getting you to use some pretty powerful attacks, and just ways to counter certain things. Like, there was another thing I was thinking of as far as like a counter goes. Oh yeah, I already mentioned it. The Bruxish countering Talonflame and Tapu Koko countering Darkrai. They don't exactly say how, like, they mentioned that Tapu Koko is considered a legendary Pokemon. It is the guardian of Melee Island, but they don't quite say, like, you know, is it on the standard tier of regular legendaries, or is it like maybe a sub-legendary, like a pseudo-legendary or something like that? Stat-wise, we don't know what this thing's capable of, but ability-wise and type-wise, we do know that it could be a good way to deal with the menacing Darkrai. So that could be pretty interesting. So that's going to be the end of this video. Feel free to leave some comments down below, folks. Let me know what you think of these Pokemon and some other possible strategy ideas that could come into play when Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon drop this holiday season, November 18th. I'm hoping to pick them up, or at least Pokemon Moon. I'm going Team Moon. I'm hoping to pick it up the day it comes out, and possibly, if I can do some recording, get some gameplay footage as I start into Gen 7 of my Pokemon adventures that have started way back in Pokemon Blue in the Kanto region. So again, throw some comments down there. Let's get some nice interaction, some feedback, and talk about some Pokemon strategies. And what else do you think could possibly come from Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon? I know there's the buzz of possible fusion out there. Also, what do you think about possible Mega Evolutions for Pokemon that currently don't have them? Will they be back? Are they going to be doing something different as far as, you know, an advanced level of Pokemon goes? I'm hoping to see some Megas. Don't know if I have any particular favorites that I want to see as Megas, but I'm going to wait and see what happens as things come out. It is interesting. They haven't revealed Megas yet, if there are going to be Mega Evolutions in the new games. So anyway, all that being said, we're going to end off this video now. I want to say thank you for checking out this particular sort of a news update video. I wanted to get this out there because this is the more timely stuff. It's been out there a little bit longer from what I can understand. But come on back tomorrow as we get into the standard, usual Monday news update video, as there's somebody driving by out my window. I should have shut that before recording this. Anyway, tomorrow will be the regular news update video, so come on back and check it out for your chance to win one of the code cards that I'll pull out of the packs that I open up tomorrow. With all that being said, we're ending off the video. Thank you again for checking this out. Leave some comments below, and I'll catch you next time.